Round 1, fight! Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 heated moments on The View.
Don't feel bad for me, bitch. I paid to do this, okay? Don't feel bad for me.
Before he headed to Florida.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're taking a look at times that the hosts of The View and/or their guests got into heated arguments.
I'm tired of people starting a conversation with Mexicans or liars and rapists. I'm tired of people starting a conversation about this country.
Number 10. Candace, Bure, and Symone go at it over cake.
But they did not refuse to
I refuse to associate myself with you right now.
They did
Is
not.
That okay?
It's in the Constitution.
Symone and Candace Bure were co-hosts on The View between 2015 and 2016, and in that time they had their fair share of dust-ups. One of their most memorable arguments revolved around an Oregon bakery that refused to serve a lesbian couple. From the get-go, it's clear that there is zero chance of the women finding common ground, with Raven arguing emphatically in favor of the couple and Candace siding with the bakery's owner.
But
You're going with
for
this.
me, what I'm understanding you saying is that their religious belief says that two people of the same sex cannot be in a relationship. Is that what they're basing
They're
it on?
saying that they stand for marriage as a man and a woman.
However, the latter was behind the 8 ball from square one, as the ruling had already been made and a fine handed down. As such, Candace wasn't really arguing with Raven, but was instead arguing against the ruling of the court.
It's unconscionable that they charge $135,000 a fine for a $200 cake. It's
By the way,
so
who
wrong.
wouldn't want to bake a lesbian wedding cake? How easy would that be?
Number 9. Whoopi Goldberg rips Kate Gosselin for violating her custody agreement.
Well, this is breaking damn news.
Kate Gosselin rose to fame as the star of the reality TV series John and Kate Plus 8, which chronicled her relationship with her husband and the trials and tribulations of raising their 8 children. During a visit to The View in 2009, Gosselin was put on blast by Whoopi Goldberg when it was revealed that she'd illegally visited her kids out of fear her husband had hired an untrustworthy babysitter, based on nothing more than her own intuition.
Couldn't tell you why at that time. It was just like my mother's intuition. I did not want her there, and strangely...
As such, Goldberg felt Gosselin was in the wrong and reprimanded Gosselin for her actions, telling her, quote, "You could have gone to jail." Despite their very different demeanors, it's clear Gosselin was in the wrong on this one.
You have your specific time and their specific time, and you're not supposed to walk on. And I'm sorry, that's the law.
I know that's what the law says.
And you could have gone to jail.
Says something different.
But when you know somebody else
you
is
could
watching,
have
your
gone
child,
to
the
jail.
child
Do you
knows.
realize that?
Number 8. Whoopi Goldberg gets into a screaming match with Jeanine Pirro backstage.
Did you just point at me?
Tempers flared between controversial judge and Fox News host Jeanine Pirro and Whoopi Goldberg in 2018. The two women were engaged in a debate over President Donald Trump, of course, when Pirro accused Goldberg of having Trump derangement syndrome. The term refers to individuals with irrational negative reactions to United States President Donald Trump's statements and political actions, with little regard toward Trump's actual position.
And clearly you don't watch the show, so you don't know that I don't suffer from that. What I suffer from is the inability to figure out how to fix this.
Set off, Goldberg continued arguing with Pirro long after the cameras had stopped rolling, and the two continued launching expletives at each other backstage before Pirro eventually left.
She could have just passed me. She didn't need to stop, but she stopped and put her finger in my face and yelled, "I've done more for victims than you ever will."
Based on the reactions of all the women on the panel, it's clear few people can stir the pot quite like Jeanine Pirro.
You know what's horrible?
What's horrible
when the president
is
of the
we
United
fund
States
sanctuary
whips up
cities.
people to beat
No.
the hell out of people.
No.
Say goodbye.
Let me buy. I'm done.
Number 7. The gay marriage fight.
The battle for same-sex marriage continues.
Whenever a subject as diverse and debatable as this one is brought up on The View, fireworks are inevitable. Whoopi Goldberg found herself at odds with Sherri Shepherd and Elisabeth Hasselbeck when discussing the topic of civil rights, and in particular gay marriage.
I don't think it's any more about the word. I just think that people feel if you don't approve of gay marriage, then of course, as I always say, do not marry a gay person.
Goldberg argued that it shouldn't matter what gay and lesbian citizens call their relationship, whereas Shepherd and Hasselbeck were of the belief that it should be called a civil union, thereby keeping it separate from a traditional marriage between a man and a woman. All three women were heavily invested in the debate, and while some sparks flew, they managed to keep their emotions in check long enough to make some solid points.
They thought marriage is between a man and a
Joe
woman. Where are the
Biden and
protests
Barack
there?
Obama did not put money into Prop 8. That's
Doesn't
why
matter. They put their mouths.
it does matter because church and state, the separation of church and state.
Number 6. Whoopi Goldberg confronts Donald Trump. Throughout his first term as president, Barack Obama faced allegations that he was not born in America.
As some of you heard, the state of Hawaii released my official long-form birth certificate.
One of the most vocal proponents of this theory was Donald Trump, who demanded that Obama release his birth certificate to the public.
I was a really good student at the best school. I'm not like a smart guy, okay? They make these birthers into the worst idiots. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate?
The future POTUS was in full birther mode when he visited The View in 2011, claiming that nobody from Obama's youth remembered him, and that the reason he refused to show his birth certificate was because
there's something on that birth certificate that he doesn't like.
Oh my God.
That's a terrible thing.
Whoopi, I'm telling you.
The interview soon devolved into a full-on screaming match between Trump and The View panel, with Goldberg famously referring to Trump's comments as,
I think that's the biggest pile of dog mess I've heard in ages.
The question is, why not show it, right?
Number 5. Whoopi Goldberg and Elisabeth Hasselbeck argue over the use of the N-word.
And sometimes I think it's almost worse to use it privately than publicly.
No, that's not true.
No, I'm saying
Footage of civil rights activist Jesse Jackson using the N-word sparked a debate that led to Elisabeth Hasselbeck breaking down in tears. Problems arose when Hasselbeck argued that it's worse for someone to use the N-word privately as opposed to publicly, adding that nobody should be using that word regardless of race.
I grew up with my family using it. For me, I can use it as a term of endearment.
But if I used it,
I don't want to hear it come out of your mouth.
This inspired responses from Sherry Shepherd and Whoopi Goldberg, who countered that there is a big difference between a black person saying the N-word and a white person saying it, and that for them, it's a part of their culture. Unable to accept that people live in different worlds, Hasselbeck was powerless to keep her emotions in check.
and we're trying to get to a place where we feel like we're in the same place, when we feel like we're in the same world. How are we supposed to then move forward if we keep using terms that bring back that pain?
Number 4, Ann Coulter stirs the pot.
Please welcome the very controversial Miss Ann Coulter. Ann.
Controversial American political commentator Ann Coulter visited the set of The View in 2012 and wasted little time riling up Whoopi Goldberg. Coulter immediately offended Goldberg by acting as if she understood what it meant to be a black person in America.
If you're gonna talk about race, at least know what you're talking about.
She went on to say that the O.J. Simpson trial was, quote, the best thing that ever happened to Black America, and that the Republican Party has historically been friendlier to black people than the Democratic Party. At this point, Goldberg had had enough and called BS on Coulter, who seemed obsessed with referencing events from decades past while ignoring present-day issues.
Ask you a question.
The first integration
Number 3. Joy Behar and Meghan McCain almost throw down.
You do not want to send in aid at all.
I listened to you. Let me just finish.
Yeah, part of your job is to listen to me.
The secret to creating must-watch television is simple. Stick Joy Behar and Meghan McCain in front of a camera and let them do the rest. The opinionated co-hosts came within a hair's breadth of a verbal nuclear war during a 2019 conversation surrounding the topics of Central America and immigration. You can feel the condensation in McCain's voice when she rebukes Behar's point about keeping people in border countries happy with the line,
Give them a house, give them food, help them, help their children.
Give a Nicaraguan
Stop the crime rates.
Behar was not happy that she was cut off, to which McCain replied, quote, yeah, well, part of your job is to listen to me. Were it not for Whoopi Goldberg's interjection, these two may well have come to blows.
And we don't need to comment if we don't like what we're hearing. Just let folks talk.
Number 2, the Bill O'Reilly walkout.
It won't, I don't think. But look, I'm not one of these guys, I want to kill him. There's a few people I want to kill, but he's not one of them.
Who do you want to kill? Who do you want to kill?
Today, Bill O'Reilly is known as a disgraced political commentator whose heinous crimes against women led to him being fired by Fox in 2017. On The View in 2010, he stirred up an entirely different kind of controversy. Fist-bumping the ladies on the panel and casually quipping, quote, there are a few people I'd want to kill was weird. but it was his racist tirade against Muslims that truly did him in.
Muslims didn't kill us on 9/11? Is that what you're saying?
Excuse me, extremists.
What did that?
From his belief that Muslims shouldn't be able to erect a mosque near the site of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, to vehemently saying, quote, Muslims killed us on 9/11, O'Reilly's racist rhetoric was too much for Goldberg and Behar to handle, causing both women to leave the set.
Muslims killed us on 9/11.
Before we get to our insane #1 pick, here are a few other heated moments from The View.
Number one, I have friends who are at her now. No, by all means, keep going, Joy.
No, if you're going to have a hissy fit, we can't continue.
Okay,
We could go
you
on.
want that same government.
Elizabeth, calm down, dear.
I can't. This
Yes,
makes me
Elizabeth.
so upset, Barbara.
I know, but everybody has strong opinions.
I know. Don't.
I'm not going. I'm not going back out. I can't do the show like this. She just reprimanded me and she knew exactly what she was doing.
But I know Mel, and I know he's not a racist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. He may be a bonehead.
Well, that language certainly sounded racist to me.
Name one country that socialism has ever worked, and also every democratic socialist who is
Copenhagen,
going on TV saying that it's good needs to
Norway.
start paying 90% in taxes.
Iceland.
On your tax form. No.
But I now work for this country, and I take my job very seriously.
Can we see his
and I
tax
am
returns,
very
do you think?
See, Joy, do you?
#1, Rosie O'Donnell and Elisabeth Hasselbeck disagree over the Iraq War.
You just said our enemies in Iraq. Did Iraq attack us?
No, I'm saying Al Qaeda.
Okay, did Iraq attack us, Elizabeth?
Few fights are etched into the minds of viewers quite like this one. Former hosts Rosie O'Donnell and Elisabeth Hasselbeck held nothing back in this heated debate on the Iraq War. O'Donnell got personal quick, claiming that the media would spin any debate between the two as...
No, let me tell you why I don't want to do it. Because here's how it gets spun in the media. Rosie, big, fat, lesbian, loud Rosie, attacks innocent, pure Christian Elizabeth. And I'm not doing it for the rest of the day. Let me do it.
Sherry Shepherd and Joy Behar attempt to keep things lighthearted, but Hasselbeck and O'Donnell are having none of it. In fact, the women end up engaged in such a passionate argument that the producers put them on split screen. In the end, O'Donnell calls Hasselbeck cowardly, and Behar begs the director to go to commercial. Oof, we're exhausted.
I sit here every single day, open my heart, and tell people exactly what I believe.
So do I, Elizabeth.
Do not call me a coward, Rosie.
It was
I do
cowardly
not
yesterday.
hide. It was not cowardly. It was honest. What is cowardly?
Is there no commercial in this show?
Asking. I'll tell you what's cowardly.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.